I don't know if I'm saying that this is the fall of the SEC. I think this is just a balance of the recruiting pool.
NIL.
With the change in
NIL.
with NIL and the change of rules and everything going on. I think it's just a balance. It's allowing teams to start to be competitive and have an opportunity versus Alabama just has all the boosters, everything else that's fucking pulling these guys in. And we saw it with Nick Saban crying about Texas A&M with Jimbo. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is just going to become a balance of power. And honestly, it's going to make nice for competition. It's going to be nice to see different teams coming in and out. It's going to be nice to see a more balanced,
it makes
spread across.
12-man. It might make that 12-man playoff actually decent. All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Welcome to All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis, and I'm in the Sack House, joined alongside a full squad because we have returning Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. We are also joined with Chris Meinhardt and Luke Rule, and it is our college football episode where we're going to break down some things we saw in week 2 and some things we might see in week 3. Not much to talk about week 3. The schedule's pretty lame, but we're also going to give some fantasy starters and sitters who, we are thinking out there. But Doc, how are you doing? Welcome back to the show tonight, man.
Thanks, man. I'm doing great. Work fucking sucks. We'll talk offline about what happened today with the psychopath that came into my office, but no, they came out with a regulation. They're allowing use or lose to exceed the normal standard for recruiters. So I can up to 90 days I can keep my leave, which I'm close to 90. So I'm going to cancel some leave for the last week, and I'm just going to take every Friday off for the next 3.5 years, and it's going to be a good time. Work 4-day weeks for the next 3.5 years.
Hell yeah, brother!
Can't fault you for that one, Luke. How are you feeling, dude? Are you cold out there in Nashville? You got a sweatshirt on, man.
No, I mean, I just felt like throwing a sweatshirt on. it's no, we got great weather out here in Nashville. It's about, low 90s, high 80s, so perfect weather. 60s in the mornings, feel great, fucking on those long-ass runs.
Chris, how are you doing tonight as we
wouldn't know about that
to dive into some NFL, tomorrow and college this weekend?
Mark, doing fucking great. I mean, fucking 4th recording in 3 days. Love being with the boys in the Sack House. I mean, we're pumping these episodes out. Hope everyone's listening, enjoying it. Tell us your concerns. I know Riz wants Doc to address something right here off the bat. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see if that happens. But, I mean, other than that, Mark, doing fucking great.
Dude, I can't blame you, dude. I mean, like you said, 4 episodes. Luke got the nice fortune to only have 3 episodes, so he's not as tired.
Yeah.
Same thing with Doc. Doc took a night off last night.
Fucking slackers.
Yeah, I mean,
Doc had to be up at 6 o'clock this morning, all right? And if Riz wants to fucking apologize, you can come on to Call of Duty and get it.
Hey, Luke, what time you got to be up?
6 o'clock must be rough.
Yeah,
I got to be up at 4:35. Yeah,
6 o'clock is fucking tough when I am normally up at like 8:30 at the earliest every day.
Must be hard. Must be hard.
Yeah,
Doc.
must be.
Hey, the hours start late, but I stay late. You know what I'm saying? I put in the hours. Nobody questions that.
But Doc, Chris did bring up something, and like I said, he's probably our most fucking dedicated listener out there.
You heard what I said. He hits me up. Riz before the show started, because he doesn't really listen to college. He's not a college guy, but he will tune into for the fantasy stuff. But he does want an apology, and you did tell him he needs to find Jesus when we were talking about the Packers coming in first place in the division and the Bears coming in last. And he says that it wasn't the Bears that was bad; it was just the Packers are good. And he said, yes, the Bears aren't bad, but he does want an apology, and he wants you to admit that you, my friend, need to find Jesus. So the floor is yours. Take a couple seconds. Don't take too long. We got to actually talk some football, but dive into his apology for Riz, please. Riz, I'm going to hit you from the heart here, man. Look, I heard what you had to say, man. I did a lot of deep thinking about it, and I know that you want an apology, and I'm prepared. You're not going to fucking get it, dude, all right? You're not going to fucking get an apology from 16 minutes of good play from the Packers, all right? I wouldn't even say that they look good all the way around. Jordan Love didn't have outstanding numbers, okay? The team all the way around was not a fucking Super Bowl contending team, okay? When I see them put that up against a defense that's worth a goddamn, because apparently Chicago isn't,
But when I see the Green Bay Packers show some consistency and show they can play against a team worth playing, then maybe we'll talk about it. But right now, no, I still have the Packers finishing dead last in the division. They will finish dead last in the division, and when that happens, you owe me an apology, sir. But I love you, Riz.
We'll check back in January with that. But boys,
take receipts here in the Sack House. We take receipts.
We even keep receipts from the fans out there that listen too. Like, so I fucking remember this shit. But so does Chris. Chris just keep me honest too on some of the things that we say as well. But boys, it's time to dig into some college football. Last week, not really that many good games neither. This week, like I said, we're going to break that down. I don't think many good games. But I guess the game of the week, I mean, at least in my eyes, was the Texas Longhorns. And I fucking said it. I said we're going to hook our horns up the elephant's ass and we're going to show them who's boss. And that's what we did. We won 34-24. We went into Tuscaloosa and we fucking beat them down. Was closer than the score really projected to be. It was 34-24. And if you're actually watching the game, it felt like it should have been worse. But hey, I don't give a shit if we won by 10, if we won by 30. I'm just glad we beat Alabama. Quinn Ewers put his name on the map. He needs to keep doing this if he wants to get a good draft, be in a draft spot next year coming up if he goes to the draft. But yeah, Quinn Ewers had a fucking phenomenal game. He had 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy and Donnie Mitchell from the Georgia Bulldogs, we transferred over there, had a couple of nice long throws too. So we had a running back with over 4 yards to carry. Texas loves pumping out running backs. But boys, Texas is back for right now. I'm not saying long term, but we're back for the week. We're number 4 in the rankings. We jumped up 7 spots. Bama went down 7 spots. It's good to be a Texas Longhorn fan, my boys.
Yeah, saying Texas is back for the week is like saying J.K. Dobbins is back after he punched one in from the 2-yard line. But no, I'm glad to see anytime Alabama loses. I don't want to take anything away from Texas' offense, but the reality is the secondary on both teams was fucking shit, absolute dog shit. The deep ball playing down the field, anything over 15 yards. I mean, the only way that those passes were missed was because the quarterback overthrew it, underthrew it, whatever the case is. But the coverage was just absolutely terrible. But Texas did outplay them. I wouldn't say that it should have been more than a 10-point difference. But Texas did deserve to win that game.
I mean, we had 2 drop passes in the end zone. So, like, those were field goals. So just add another fucking 8
on
points
the same
right
drive?
there. No, we had one our first score of a field goal, but turned into a field goal. And then towards the end of the half, we scored another field goal. So that's, like I said, add 8 more points if you add 4 more points each. So it should have been literally, and then we dropped the interception right before.
Bama didn't have no drops.
Yeah, but Milroe overthrew some guys. That could have been easy touchdowns. So I mean, you can't use it. Should have been. It could have been. It is
we do
what
it all day long. The Bears could have won if Justin Fields passed beyond the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying?
Those weren't in the end zone though. So like those guys have been out of bounds or tackled.
They
so
ran
the one overthrow was leading him to the out of bounds mark. So he was actually going out. Like, if he would have caught it, he was out of bounds. Like he would have caught it in bounds, but then his body took him there.
At the end of the day, you can't. Would have been. Could have been. Fucking.
I'm just glad we won. We won. That's all that matters to me.
I'm also glad.
Yeah.
I'm also glad. I'm not a Texas fan by any means, but I'm also glad anybody. I'm a Florida State fan and anybody that plays Alabama. You know what I'm saying? But
it's nice though that it's nice if a QB doesn't get hurt for our team against Alabama, we win. So we don't know what happened the last 2 times we played them, but this time our QB stayed in the game.
We know what happened last year.
Yes, but he got hurt. But this year he made plays when it mattered, and he looked phenomenal. I was a little nervous too, Chris, when Bama took that fucking 3-point lead going into the fourth, like literally right before the fourth quarter started. I was like sitting here thinking, God damn it, this is fucking the point where Alabama now comes in. Yeah, typical Texas, typical Bama. They come back, we choke it away, but Texas didn't look back after that 16-13 lead that Bama took. We just fucking kept rolling, and we fucking stomped them down.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest loss at Nick Saban being home in Tuscaloosa. I mean, a huge win with Texas. Colt McCoy fucking sacrificed his NFL career for Texas to be back this year. So shout out to Colt McCoy. I think y'all should make a shrine out of him. I mean, just like you said, Mark.
He's got one. He's got one.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Like you said, Mark, I mean, this game looked like it was going to be Alabama's game when it was 13-16 at the very end with Alabama scoring a touchdown. And then Texas comes right back, scores a touchdown, and you think Alabama's about to drive down, and then they throw this fucking interception. I think the biggest loss for Alabama right now is Milroe, the sophomore. I don't think he's ready. Alabama couldn't lock and reload like they usually do, and I think that's part of the coaching staff. I mean, not putting blame on Nick Saban. Nick Saban's a god. He knows what he's doing. But look at his assistants. I mean, Saban's used to having guys like Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin helping these players get coached. Right now, I don't even know who the fuck their assistants are.
This did look like the most lost Alabama team that I've seen yet, the most underdeveloped, not ready team. Milroe was absolutely terrible in this game.
But they have talent. That's the sad part. I think it has to do with coaching. And it's not Nick Saban, it's these assistants. And it's Nick Saban loses assistants every 2 years. It's hard to fill those seats back with people like Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin.
Tommy Reese is his offensive coordinator. I do know that. I don't know who his defensive coordinator is at the moment, but I know Tommy because they kept saying
they're both going to be gone real soon.
Yeah, Nick Saban doesn't play around. So, I mean.
No, I mean the offense looks worse than when Bill O'Brien, and I thought Bill O'Brien was a fucking shitty ass offensive coordinator last year. I mean, you have Bryce Young in the backfield, and you still couldn't make it to the Natty. And after this game, it looked like Bryce Young fucking held Alabama on his back. No wonder he's out there hurt in Carolina.
No, but I'm just happy we won. That's all. Luke, do you think this is kind of the slowly become, like Chris says, like kind of not the downfall of Alabama, but it's time for Alabama to start thinking about different choices?
I think it's like the beginning of the end of the Alabama dynasty. It has been where they've been in. I'd had Alabama outside my top 4 for the playoffs, so I think that still stands. I don't see Alabama being able to compete in that SEC as well as they have been. Like they're not going to be a dominant team in the SEC. I think it's Georgia, then everybody else really now. The SEC is starting to. They talk so much shit about being the best conference, but it's not really looking that way this season.
Well, Alabama can absolutely make it. They've got an easier road ahead of them. Michigan's got Ohio State coming up. Texas is going to have a couple of challenges. USC is in a very packed powerhouse Pac-12 conference. Penn State's got a couple of challenges. Washington, I don't know if I see Washington holding out. Notre Dame, fuck Notre Dame. So Alabama can absolutely find their way back into the top 4 pretty quickly.
Completely disagree.
And they have to win the SEC. They have to go beat whoever wins the East. So it's probably going to be Georgia. They have to beat Georgia in Atlanta.
They'd have to beat Georgia. I see them at least dropping one more in the season. I mean, you have Ole Miss coming up in a couple of weeks. They go against South Florida this weekend, but then you have Ole Miss, who has a high power offense. I mean, you saw
beat Tulane.
They did. Tulane is a pretty good team. I mean, they had their backup quarterback in. Tulane did.
I'm not saying Tulane's a bad team, but I mean, you expect Ole Miss to do a lot more damage against
it's in Tuscaloosa. But Ole Miss and Alabama always play each other hard because Lane Kiffin.
That's true.
Ole Miss almost beat Alabama last year.
Good point.
Then you have Texas A&M. Texas A&M almost beat Alabama last year, and we know they're dog shit.
Let's pump the. I mean, they are dog.
No. We're not pumping the brakes.
Yo, they just got blown the fuck out by Miami.
Either way,
they got blown the fuck. A&M got blown out fucking all year last year, and they still almost beat Alabama last year. I think it was one possession win.
Wasn't that in College Station, or was that in Bama?
It was in Bama. They play in College Station this year.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I don't put it past Texas A&M.
Texas A&M is probably one of the most inconsistent teams in college football that will come out and put up a fight against teams like Alabama, get absolutely shit on by teams like fucking Boston College. Or I was going to say Miami, but Miami can put together a good team once in a while.
But
so.
This isn't.
Miami always comes out hot in the start of the year and then falls apart.
But it's not maybe just Bama. It's just also like we were talking about it, potentially the slow downfall of the SEC. So I broke down the numbers against the Power 5 conferences this year. They're 0-1 against the Big 12. They're 2-1 against the Pac-12, but their wins are Cal and Arizona. When they played a good team in Utah, they lost, which was Florida. They are 1-3 against the ACC.
You can't
and they're
only the rest of the SEC though.
We're what, like 3-6 against Power 5 teams this year right now?
Yeah.
3 or 8, 3 and 8.
No, you're 3-6.
I think 3-6. We're batting.
No, you're 3-5 against them.
I don't know if I'm saying that this is the fall of the SEC. I think this is just a balance of the recruiting pool.
NIL
with the change
of
NIL. With NIL and the change of rules and everything going on. I think it's just a balance. It's allowing teams to start to be competitive and have an opportunity versus Alabama just has all the boosters, everything else that's fucking pulling these guys in. And we saw it with Nick Saban crying about about Texas A&M with Jimbo. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is just going to become a balance of power. And honestly, it's going to make nice for competition. It's going to be nice to see different teams coming in and out. It's going to be nice to see a more balanced,
It makes a
spread
12-man. It might make that 12-man playoff actually decent.
Exactly, because otherwise, I mean, before the NIL, you got fucking Georgia, maybe Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, maybe Clemson. If they can get their heads out of their asses. But aside from maybe 5 or 6 teams, I mean, the next one would be a team like Tulane that would get absolutely shit on.
Well, it was like Cincinnati. They gave them that shot and they got blown out against Alabama in the playoff.
That's what I'm saying. So now it's a better balanced field. And it's going to be a more interesting playoff.
Kids these days are chasing the money.
They are chasing the money.
USC.
What'd you say?
Said Tulane did beat USC with Caleb Williams starting last year. So
Tulane's not a bad team. They're not.
I'm not saying they're not, but
we're saying
maybe a poor example. Maybe a poor example of putting a cupcake. Maybe I should have said like a UCF team going to the playoffs and getting blown out. That might have been more appropriate.
No, you're right. No, Luke, they beat USC, but then again, my argument was put them in the playoffs against Georgia like they did Cincinnati with Bama. I don't think Tulane goes in and they beat Georgia.
Not that atmosphere.
No. Absolutely not. Nobody was beating Georgia though.
You're right. No one was beating.
No one has.
Yeah.
Do they beat Michigan? Do they go in there and beat Michigan, who's the 2?
TCU did.
But TCU was
TCU had a fucking phenomenal team last year.
They had one of the best offense. I mean, it showed.
Then they went and got blown out by Georgia.
Anyone's getting blown against Georgia.
Everyone the past 2 years got blown out.
Averaged like 240 yards against a game last year. That's unreal, especially in the SEC.
But it's not just Alabama though. That's like slowly like. I mean, LSU had a good year last year, and they might have a good year this year. It's just unfortunate we saw them week 1 get blown out against Florida State. So that's what we had to see against like a good competition team. I'm not grambling. So when they played a decent school, they got blown out. I mean, Auburn barely struggled. They struggled against Cal in a win. So it's like these teams, Texas A&M got blown out against Miami. And we laugh at Miami every single fucking year. We laugh at the Hurricanes.
A&M's allowed to get fucking laughed at for fucking what they've done with Jimbo, what the money they have, bringing the recruits and still getting 5 and 7 seasons.
They cannot figure it out in Miami or in Texas A&M, dude.
Don't shit on too much because they'll ruin your season again.
Hey, I mean, when's the last time A&M's fucking won a natty? Because I think we have 3 in the past 23 years.
A&M's just season ruiners now.
I mean, but another thing is,
but they'll play hard against good teams.
Tennessee struggled against Austin whatever their name is.
That's my hometown
Austin
team now.
Yeah, they struggled against them. They were having a hard time against them for it seemed like half the game, 3/4 of the game. They were struggling.
Yeah, let's go P. It's Governors.
Like that sneaky Appalachian State.
Chris, I mean, you're the other SEC guy. I mean, I'm not there yet. I'm still Big 12, but does this open the door? Like everyone's like, I remember when we made the announcement, like Texas and Oklahoma, when they made the announcement they're joining the SEC and they might go early. Everyone's just sitting there laughing, like, "Oh, these 2 schools are going to get clowned on. They're going to get shit on." I mean, I heard it from you and Luke several times that Texas can't compete with the big boys in the SEC. Does us beating Bama give us a little hope for us in Oklahoma when we join?
I mean, I think it's huge for Texas to beat Alabama at home before they come to the SEC, but it just brings back to it's all about NIL. I mean, SEC teams are used to kids wanting national championships. They knew that
television exposure, draft exposure.
Yeah, they knew that the SEC would win them a natty, and now kids aren't chasing natties. Kids are chasing $1 million.
Yeah,
so they're going to these schools.
Yeah, those kids need starting spots to get those $1 million. So you're not going to get all those NIL deals sitting on the bench.
Yeah, you got to sign away 15% of your earnings over the next 25 years to get that $400,000 payout.
I mean, Quinn Ewers took his big NIL deal to go to Ohio State and sit behind C.J. Stroud, and then he joined Texas this following year. I mean, a lot of them do that too.
The intent was him to start eventually at Ohio State, though.
I mean, if he would have sat there for 2 years, he probably would have started this year there, but he didn't want to wait.
He definitely would have started this year.
Yeah, he would have.
But he wanted to get that injury out of the way early.
I mean, he sat on the bench last year after he got injured week 2.
No, he came back. He came back right away.
Yeah.
Oh, not right away, but
he played
I think he missed the game.
Red River rivalry. He played that game, didn't he? He
Yeah,
lit it
and then
up.
we stomped the shit out of Oklahoma that game. But I mean, I don't know. Like I do think it, like you said, it gives us confidence to join the SEC. I mean, Georgia, I think they are beatable this year. I'm not 100%. I'm not confident on them yet. Like I have to see when conference play starts for them in a couple weeks. But
South Carolina.
I'm excited to join the
This
SEC now.
weekend.
I mean, I think this was big for the Big 12 schools coming in of us. Well, it's only us in Oklahoma, but I really think that. I'm not saying we're going to win the SEC anytime soon. I'm just saying I think we can compete. I mean, we can get in the 12-man playoff in the SEC, maybe as like a 2 or 3 large bid from the conference.
Y'all can absolutely
look,
compete, but I don't think anything's touching Georgia's defense.
We're not going to see anything from Georgia until they play Ole Miss at the very end of the season. Maybe Tennessee. I still don't believe in Tennessee. I mean, I know they're 11, but like you said, Mark, they struggled last week against Austin Peay. So, I mean, Ole Miss is pretty much their only fucking competition. So we might not see anything until the playoff time.
Yeah, that's a long time for them too. But are we on agreeing so that maybe the SEC this year isn't the best conference through 3 weeks or through 2 weeks?
I think everybody would arguably agree that the Pac-12 is the best conference this year right now.
Yeah, as of right now, I would agree.
It's a very close between the Pac-12 and the SEC, but I think we're gonna need a couple more weeks to see it finalized. I mean, like you said, it was some weak matchups going on between the two conferences, Utah and Florida. Everybody expected Utah to win that one. What did you say, Cal and Auburn? I mean, that's a weak matchup. So I think we got to see. Hopefully, there's a couple more coming up. I know we're going to be getting into conference play here soon, but
This weekend,
I mean, the playoffs.
Some teams start.
Yeah, the playoffs will definitely show it though.
Yeah, boys. And we had I wish we would have fucking not. I wish I didn't said a damn word until the show started. But we had some top 25 reactions. God, it was pretty good. I mean, like I said, I guess the big thing was Bama dropped 7 and Texas jumped up 7. But I don't know, man. Like, I think the rankings, at least in the top, like the top tier, are pretty spot on. I mean, I was still a little shocked that we jumped so far. I know we beat number 3, but based on recent history, you don't normally jump over like teams that haven't done anything to lose. But maybe they're getting it right. Maybe they're finally saying, "Hey, we're going to earn. If you earn it, we're going to give it to you." So, but I think the top part of the thing, it's pretty solid.
My only question mark in that is Texas jumping over USC, maybe a second one in Ohio State. 'Cause we did see some struggles against Indiana in the opening week, but they came together with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the second game and made some connections. The offense looked a lot better. Yeah, it looked a lot better and came
They
in
put
touch,
up 20 points against Youngstown. Ohio's offense, period, is struggling. Texas can clearly jump them.
Didn't they score more than 20?
No, they scored more than 20.
Oh, it was 20 their first week. Then they scored 30 on Youngstown.
35-7.
It was a very low-scoring game going to a non-Power 5 conference.
Yeah, for Youngstown, that's a low-scoring game. But all right, so that's why I said maybe Ohio State. I definitely didn't see him jumping over USC.
Like I said, I'm shocked that we got. I'm not saying we deserve to be there. And I am shocked. Like I said, I was telling you guys, I could see us going 7 as high as 7, and maybe 5 at the most. But I didn't think we're gonna go inside the top 4.
They need to stop being cowards and put Notre Dame in the top 4. Stop being cowards.
Notre Dame should have gone down in the rankings.
All right.
Why?
Notre Dame does have they got 3 wins.
Well, they also played.
USC's got 3 wins.
They played an extra.
They should be 1 and 2.
Navy, Tennessee State. Navy, Tennessee State. Okay, 42-3, 56-3, and then game 3 against North Carolina State, 54 or 45-24.
So you're telling
that's a blowout win, but against NC State for a powerhouse Notre Dame, that's a fucking dog shit game. And you know what? Do not give them credit for beating. You know what the game plan is with Navy. You know what the game plan is. They're gonna run the ball, and that is it. You know what the game plan of Tennessee State is. They're just gonna lie down and die. Okay, so I'm not impressed.
Yeah, but Ohio is supposed to be in the top 4 when they can't even put up 40 points against Youngstown and fucking who's their first team? Fucking
Ohio State is a better overall team, top to bottom, than Notre Dame. Notre Dame is dog shit.
It's
always be dog shit.
Their
shit ain't gonna be shit.
I'm not saying
we'll see. We'll see week 4. We'll see week 4.
Is Ohio State a better team than Penn State because they're higher than them? They're better than the Huskies.
Better than the Huskies,
Michael
I'd
Penix,
say, yeah.
Michael Penix Jr. has. I don't know if you've been watching the Washington Huskies the last 2 years, including this season. Michael Penix Jr. has been probably one of the best QBs in college football.
That's
Just
going to be
throwing that
interesting.
out there.
I haven't watched him, but it's going to be interesting to see Penn State and the Ohio State matchup. I mean, between Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, it's going to be might actually be some excitement in the Big Ten this year. I mean, Penn State does have Illinois coming up this week, so I mean that won't be hard. But
It's conference play.
There's a lot of talented teams out there that don't have a quarterback.
But I'm not saying this, Doc, and maybe Luke, you can chime in on this. Is like, so you said, Notre Dame's not that good. That Ohio State's better. Has Ohio State looked better than Texas this year? Let's be honest. Have they looked better than the Longhorns?
I got to go back. Let me pull up their first game. I don't remember what they did their first week.
We won 37-10 against
37-10.
Rice.
Offensively struggled just a little bit with Rice with that first half. Got your shit together. Had a pretty convincing win against Alabama, which is big. So I definitely
win.
And our QB looks confident. Like he's actually getting our star receivers the ball. Like that's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback in college.
Yeah,
I'm not saying one way is looking better than the other. I just would not have. I would have put Texas at 6.
I would have switched. I would have switched Texas and USC. I think Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than yours. I think USC is slowly getting their defense built.
But that's the thing. When you do the rankings, you're not going off of skill on the team per se. You're going off of the performance of the skill on the team. So you're going off of how they played against their opponents. So that's why Texas jumped up so much, was beating number 3. But
Penn State should be higher.
Wait, then fucking Notre Dame should be high.
Against
NC State?
USC's put
Notre Dame over Ohio? Notre Dame's blown out 2 teams already. Ohio's put up fucking, 30, 40, 50 points?
Then fucking USC's put up over 50 points every game, too.
Yeah, so USC should be fucking number 1. Georgia looks sluggish coming into some of their games. It's not about how you win the game. They're looking at the skill positions, the roster, the strength of schedule.
Yeah, this isn't NFL.
Well, then if you're going strength of schedule, then it should be Florida State and Texas number 1 and 2. You know
how the committee is. They're not going to dethrone the number 1 spot until they give you a reason to dethrone them. And that's been like every year with Alabama.
If you ask me my top 5 right now, I'll say Georgia, Michigan, Florida State. I'm honestly going to say Penn State, and then I'm going to say Texas. I think Penn State is being very overlooked. I understand they beat West Virginia, and they beat whoever the fuck they beat last week. But Penn State has kicked ass both games. They really have. And they have probably one of the best rosters in the nation. And to be honest, I think the Huskies are better than Ohio State, and I think they're better than USC. USC's higher because of their fucking name and Caleb Williams.
38-15 is not a huge, convincing win over West Virginia.
Oh,
and they play nowhere. So it's not.
My top 5.
It's hard to compare teams that aren't playing against good teams.
It's true.
My top 5, I'm going Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, USC, and Mark, I'll give you Texas. I'll give you Texas. I'll put Texas above Ohio State.
But the USC doesn't play defense, and the Huskies do, and they play offense as well. what's going to happen when they play
defense the last 2 weeks?
USC don't play defense?
USC's coming up with defense.
66-14, 56-10, that's not defense?
Weren't they
the only close game was San Jose State was in the very beginning, and then in the second quarter second half they ran away with it.
Yeah, that was 56-28. So
Huskies will fucking play defense on these boys, and they will not play defense against the Huskies. USC is not have defense. That's the Lincoln Riley way. Just throwing that out there.
Week 4 is
team statistics, USC is allowing 198 yards rushing, which sounds like a lot, but in college it's really not that much with scrambling quarterbacks, and 198 yards passing against them.
If we're talking numbers,
passing is good on any team.
Okay, we'll look at the Huskies. They've only allowed 29 points in 2 games.
Okay.
So I'm sorry that USC is an extra game.
If you look at the last 2 games from USC, they allowed fucking 24 or 25.
So they still allowed more
than
the Huskies.
No, they didn't. You said 29.
No, you said 25. Okay.
Yeah.
I just think the Huskies are better. I honestly do. I think they've been better the last 2 years on defense at least.
then USC's put up more points also as well.
Huskies are
Yeah,
allowing
Yeah, I mean,
a few less yards on defense and a few more on passing. So
It's just-
overall, their yardage is a little bit better on defense, but not anything that screams Washington should be above USC.
and I really would hope that they score a lot more. I mean, they played San Jose State and a horrible Stanford team, and then whoever they played week 2. So USC should be putting up these points, and they're doing it. I'll give it to them. They're doing their job. Like you guys
Right.
said, they should be putting up 50, 60 points.
Washington played fucking Tulsa.
Yeah, and they blew them out like they should have.
Yeah, it was 43.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see
But
later
that's
when
more-
the
43-10.
that's a
USC didn't do
blowout.
shit. 43-10.
I said USC did good. I don't know where that was if it came out of my mouth. I said they did good. They did their job. They blew a team out.
You said
did exactly-
you said that they were playing better defense and giving up less points than USC, and USC 66-14 and 56-10.
They're playing worse teams too. They really are. And Michael
I mean,
Penix
we're gonna-
Jr. is doing just as good as Caleb Williams. This dude's putting up 400 yards every game.
we're gonna
like,
see. We're
let's
gonna
pump
see
the
when
brakes
these.
on Caleb.
We're going to see when
We're-
Washington gets into the real Pac-12 schedule.
Did you not? If you don't watch the Pac-12, they were actually one of the best teams in the nation last year. They were top 10 all year. We'll see what they
All
do
right, well, then they'll
November
back it
4th.
up. They'll back it up.
Let's see what they do
then.
November 4th when they're at USC. We'll see what they do. Let's see if USC can get past Colorado next week. Okay, let's talk
But
after
USC's
that. If
getting
they got-
past Colorado, buddy.
Yeah, when
USC's getting past Colorado.
they're also going to allow 70 points next week too. Guaranteed.
Nah.
They'll allow at least 40 points against
USC's going to
Colorado.
allow 7. No, you said 70. Put
40.
that on the fucking receipt.
They're gonna.
You
Yeah,
said
that's being
70.
sarcastic. Being sarcastic. They're gonna allow at least 40 points to Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter in Colorado. Bank on that one.
No, I don't think so.
Bank on it.
Yeah. Okay. Colorado's gonna go in there and they're gonna. It's gonna be a shootout. They're gonna probably beat Colorado, but they'll beat them like 49-42.
Chris, give us the over-under for Colorado points.
Fucking. What's the over under right now?
Whatever it's at, do the over.
I don't even know.
They don't even have it out yet.
They're not gonna have it until after this week when they play them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a shootout. Neither team.
Right now,
plays
ESPN
defense.
has a 9.4 chance that Colorado wins this game. So
Now, USC's gonna win, but it's gonna be a fucking like high scoring.
Does it say? It doesn't say what the over-under is.
No, they won't have it until
No, no.
after this game.
USC better not let Colorado
Oh,
win.
that they're doing not this weekend. They're playing them next weekend.
next weekend.
Yeah, it's in
okay.
it's in Colorado next
Yeah,
week.
so yeah, they won't until after
Don't-
this game because
don't
you
let
can't do
Colorado win
you
that
can't do a
game,
fucking
'cause you-
spread with injuries coming up this weekend.
Colorado wins that game, they'll probably jump like 10, 12 spots.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
they'll be-
Colorado's
they'll
going to
be
lay down
fine.
and get plowed. I mean, they might. I'm not saying they're going to get plowed, but they're not putting up 40 points.
No, I'm just saying USC cannot let Colorado win because Colorado will be all over everything.
Oh,
They'll-
dude,
they'll be
they're
top
already
three
all
or
over
four.
everything.
Oh, Colorado
Yeah,
the top
they-
5. Colorado will
Damn.
jump from fucking 18 to 2.
Dude, USC, I'm looking at their schedule right here. Like they play a lot of ranked teams. They still have to play obviously Colorado. They have to go to South Bend 2 weeks after that. Or a couple weeks after that. They have to go home for Utah. Easy game against Cal. They have to host Washington, go to Oregon, and then play ranked UCLA. Like that's a fucking schedule that USC has.
I mean, if they make it through, they deserve to be in the playoffs.
No, I give them
Pac-12's
that.
fucking built.
I just don't trust Lincoln Riley when it comes down to it at the end of the day because the man never produces a defense. Never did in Oklahoma. He didn't do it last year in USC. So I just don't
He
trust
didn't-
him.
He didn't even do home defense when his home got fucking robbed in Oklahoma either. So
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh,
man.
Jesus. Yeah,
But I mean, Luke, you wanted to talk about. I know
Castle Doctrine
USC,
Capital.
USC, dude. That was a ugly win, but hey, it was a win, right?
I mean, UCF?
Yeah, sorry, UCF. My bad.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, ugly win, but thank God we have the best kicker in college football. He hit two 50-yarders, 2 from 50 plus, and a 40-yard game winner. So it was good. Lost our quarterback, though, so we'll be down our quarterback this week. John Rice Plumlee took a nice hit on his hip. So I think he played the whole game, so I think it's kind of a precautionary thing to keep him out. We're playing against Villanova, so it shouldn't be an ugly game like it was last week, but you never know.
Yeah, you're playing a basketball school, so you should win that one pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I think this Gus Malzahn taking caution before he's going to Big 12 play. Try to get John Rice Plumlee back healthy again.
Damn, Chris, I just looked at yours. You guys start SEC play this week, huh? Against State.
yeah, we do. I mean, it's going to be a big fucking test with the defense, with the run game. I mean, State, Kevin Barbay, whatever how you say it, their offensive coordinator. Hey, he's a fucking run first guy. I mean, Will Rogers last year, a guy that's normally known for throwing 40 plus of pass attempts, only threw 17 pass attempts last week. They attempted to run 39 times. So I mean, this is gonna be a run first team. Going to be big on LSU's defense. See if we can stop that run.
It's at State too. Have fun with that.
But it's 11 o'clock game, so I mean, we know how early games are down in the South.
Yeah,
Damn right, Doc.
Hey, they're State's fired up. Mississippi State's fired up this year too. They're playing for Leach, so they looked fired up the first 2 games. So I mean, they're going to come out and you're going to get their best shot.
Yeah, Chris, you're going to get the best shot they have, man. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Doc, you guys start ACC play. You guys play at Boston College. You a little nervous? You a little shake about the Eagles out there?
Normal, the last couple of years coming off Willie Taggart, I was pretty much worried about anybody that we played, but seeing what the offense is doing this year and arguably one of the best receiver corps in the country, defense has been stepping up, playing real well, a lot better, like classic Florida State defense is known to be. But I'm looking at the numbers. I mean, over 500 yards offensively to 358 for Boston College. I mean, the pass game has been horrendous for Boston College. They've had a pretty solid run offense with 174 yards, but Florida State's putting up over 220. And, looking at the defense, I mean, I want to give credit to Boston College's defense, but let's be real. They won a game in overtime against Northern Illinois and then beat Holy Cross by a field goal. I mean, let's not get carried away there.
Dude, don't Holy Cross.
This is Boston College's bandana game too. So they're coming out in those red bandana jerseys.
Well, they're going to need.
You better watch out, Doc.
Watch out for the bandanas.
Hey,
Vegas,
good.
Vegas better get a hold of that because now you guys are 26-point favorites. They better jump that down a couple spots and go maybe like
bandana game.
26-point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and say I am not concerned for Boston College this weekend. The over/under is 48, and I think that they are specifically talking about how many points Florida State will put up. Over/under is 48.
Bandana game. Luke, good fucking report. Hey,
they're
good
going to need
reporting
no
out there.
after.
Thanks.
The man took some notes. Let's see that notepad.
Oh shit.
Where's the diagram? Where's the diagram?
No diagram.
Oh shit!
Luke on the fantasy. Luke, I'm not sure if you caught the fantasy episode, but I gave you a shout out when we were like starting the show. I said, "Yeah, boys, actually here. Let me flip the page. I can do it again." So got my notes here, and then I got some more notes here. I was like, "Man, I'm over here. Got a lot of notes for me and Luke. I'm taking double duty right here."
Hey,
double duty
notes. That's why I have a fancy one. I didn't come up with my notes.
We just need to get rid of this last. We need to get done with this weekend of college football. Not a very good competitive weekend. Week 4, we have some huge matchups. Can't wait to talk about that because I'm gonna watch the game. We play Wyoming, but I'm not excited for any other game. Maybe LSU Mississippi State catch that one, but it's just not a impressive week from the college football schedule makers this year.
Yep, still slowly doing the little preseason games.
God, yeah.
Yeah, there's fucking these cupcake games with was this the year they expanded the conference play?
No. That's not till next year.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah, that's when I'm really expecting to see the fucking preseason games really step it up. But no, this is definitely. I mean, you nailed it. This is definitely this is a very weak league, very weak season so far. I mean, as far as ranked teams playing in good competition, I mean, I think we've had maybe 5 games that have been really worth watching all year so far through 2 weeks. That's not good.
Yeah, usually the first week and the second week produces some fireworks, but it just seems like we haven't got, like you said, that many games. But not much to talk about. I just was excited to talk SEC, hopefully. I mean, I've always wished for the downfall, but
you're part of us now.
Yeah. Texas is going to be part of the downfall.
We are still – well, no.
The ACC's coming.
We're joining when the downfall's happening, so we run the conference. That's a good fucking plan from the Longhorns athletic department.
That's what you need in order to win.
Hey, but the SEC will get stronger when basketball and baseball in Texas joins because we are a pretty good program there. Golf, too. We are a pretty good golfing fucking college. So, Chris, SEC's getting some powerhouses there in other sports, too.
Yes, sir.
But,
boys, how do you think the water polo is going to stand up against LSU, Chris?
I don't watch water polo. That one,
it's going to be a rough one. It's going to be a rough one.
Chris is gonna be texting me during the Texas and Florida or the Texas LSU baseball game every year. Like, hey, you watching the fucking game this week, dude? Like,
He's gonna be texting you during the goddamn Texas LSU chess match. All right.
Hey, I'll text you
watch
during the
everything
fucking.
else, dude.
I'll watch you during the fucking gymnastics.
if
I'm
Chris,
sure you're watching that one.
Everyone's
Sure you
watching
got that?
gymnastics.
yeah, I wonder why. Like, I wonder who the star on that team is in LSU. Actually, I saw a Sports Illustrated cover her and
Her and
Reese.
Angel Reese.
Dude, she towers over Livy Dunn. Like, it was so bad. Like, she looked like she's like 2 feet taller than her.
They're like the two highest paid people right now
Oh yeah,
on campus.
I mean, they're doing good. Like, they're bringing the women's athletics for the NIL. They're bringing them up. Like, they're making some good money. Yeah, and I don't
And we
blame
just-
her. And like,
We just made our girls coach the fucking highest paid coach. I think we gave her like 35 million.
who was the
Jeez,
other
how
girl
did you
from?
win?
Who was the other girl from the team that like everyone was getting a problem with? That with the
Haley
trash talk?
Haley Van Pelt. Oh no, the one that Angel Reese trash talked. I
Yeah,
don't fucking know. I can't remember
So,
her
like,
name.
I saw like her and Angel Reese. They were saying it'd be smart for them to stay in college because they'll get paid more.
Yeah, they're getting
college than
paid
they
way.
would.
They're getting paid way more than.
I think did the one girl go to that WNBA now?
I'm not sure honestly. To be
No,
honest.
I
not.
think she did.
No, she
No?
stayed. She stayed.
She stayed?
Because
pretty
I mean, smart. They say it's the money's there. Why not stay?
What was her name? Katie something?
I concur.
Yeah. That one. that one.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, look at the teamwork here. We fucking piece it together. Just throwing
Okay,
names
boom.
out there.
Have no idea what y'all are talking about.
Put fucking 16 balls together,
Yeah,
and hey,
yeah.
2
16.
4. Yeah. 2 4. Put 8 balls together. You
Yeah.
got
God.
it.
There's the math right there.
Jesus.
Damn.
I was gonna say, am I missing a
There's some
couple?
math
Like,
problems.
Yeah.
Let me,
Here you go,
let me
check.
see what I got here real quick.
Let me check real quick.
I almost
Alright.
called my doctor
Oh, no, I got
tomorrow.
four.
and
I
said,
got
hey,
four. I got four.
Wait,
We're good.
y'all don't have 4 balls?
No, I got my 4. I just counted. I got my 4.
Yeah. You got to get the spare sack.
But real
Oh, the
talk,
spare,
Chris,
yeah.
You
Pull
got the
him out
spare
real
sack.
real
I got
talk,
a
Chris, we
flat.
might want to go see a doctor tomorrow.
Probably.
Luke's like, I got a flat ball. Let me place it real quick.
Let me pump it up.
Switch them
Let me-
out.
He's running the deflate gate over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what. Okay, it makes sense. But hey, boys, let's move on before we get canceled, before we get big. So, fantasy time. You know, Deontay Johnson. Some reports came out he's going to miss about a month with his hamstring. Dolchich is out for about the same time, and then it looks like Austin Eckler. It's very questionable. He might not play on Sunday. He's been hyping up Joshua Kelly. So, if you fantasy owners are out there, just keep an eye on him. You might said, don't wait to the wire for these guys. Start getting some depth on your team so you're ready to start some new guys.
Oh yeah, and I'd like to take a second here to lead this one. I got one that's really been itching at me here. I'm going to start with my first sit 'em. I'm going to go ahead and lead right off the bat. I'm going to say sit Aaron Rodgers.
You're a bitch.
I think
Jeez, what happened, Doc?
You stole my sit-em.
Yeah, no, I think coming out, I think it just kind of showed his heart and his dedication to just quit after 4 plays. I just don't think he really wants it that bad. You know, they really came by, scraped one through without Aaron Rodgers. I think that there could have been more effort. I just wasn't happy with the play calling. I don't know why. They just had him on the sideline every play, but I don't think he's going to have it this week. I think bench him and take your chances with well, not Zach Wilson, anybody but Zach Wilson, but take your chances with anybody else. I'll give you my stardom for quarterback as well. Anybody except Zach Wilson over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate. Luke's going to play him in Dynasty sometime this year. I can feel it. He's going to be tanking.
Gonna-
So he
oh,
may-
yeah.
It's going to be a bye week soon.
The bye week coming up. I need my QB3s, and I got them now.
Luke, do me a favor and play him this week in Dynasty.
Hey, yeah, I know. Big matchup between Mark and Luke.
Both games.
Yeah.
We play each other both.
Damn.
Yeah. I'll
But,
win
no,
one. I'll take
yeah,
one
hey,
W.
One
And
of the
hey,
ones I bet.
Dallas and Zach Wilson looking good right now for Luke.
Let's ride.
Yes, right. No, but we're all gonna give some. We're just gonna throw some topics out there, maybe discuss why. You know, maybe feed off each other, some starts and some sits. You know, for some of these sits, I have a couple like names that are big time players, and some of the starts are kind of, you know, like maybe questionable guys, but also like stars that had a bad week last week. But I'm not sure what to start off. I mean, just the floor is open. Just feed off.
Yeah,
each other and just help the viewers out there.
I'll go off Doc and I'll start with the fucking sit 'em. I know once I say this name, you're going to look at me and you're going to say, Chris, what are you talking about? This is the most talented wide receiver in the NFL right now. But I'm going to have to say sit him, and it's George Pickens. The man caught 5 passes last week with Pittsburgh getting blown out to San Fran. Deontay Johnson's out, so he's going to be the focal point of that offense going against Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome. Huge fucking secondary with the Browns. And look, I know that the Browns looked like shit on offense, but hey, to still hold the Bengals passing attack to 82 yards, that's not a fluke. And that's not Joe just being out of sync. Like, hey, Browns defense is real this year. And I think sit George Pickens before he puts that Drake London on you.
I'm sitting him too, Chris, actually. I'm glad you brought that up because I play Luke. I'm not playing Drake London, so I'm starting Jordan Addison over George Pickens. So
Jordan Addison held the game last week.
Hell of a game.
I mean, my sit-in was going to be Drake London. You know, he put up double zeros for you last week. He's not the first look either. I think Kyle Pitts going to be the first look for fucking Ritter.
It might be Matt Collins, to be honest.
Yeah.
It might be Matt Collins.
I don't trust Ritter in the passing game at all. The offensive line is fucking, like, the pass blocking is fucking trash. Ritter's going to be getting eaten up almost every play. And it's going to be a run-heavy offense. Like, they're just going to run the ball almost every play. So I don't see Drake London getting a lot of looks.
Chris, I like that. Like, well, Luke, I agree with you for this week. I mean, I guess we'll stick with the receiver train for a little bit. If you are deep in a redraft league and you have 3 talented receivers and you can put a running back or 2 tight ends in the flex, sit Terry McLaurin. Please do. He's playing against – I don't fucking care about Sauce Gardner. He's playing against the best cornerback in football, Pat Surtain, out there in Denver, and he's a beast. And I'm sorry, Denver's defense is really good. Sam Howell's still a question mark. We're going to see what he can do. But he was looking at Jahan Dotson a lot last week. I think Terry McLaurin is a must-sit if you're in a deep league or deep like roster. I think, like I said, Pat Surtain's a monster, and I think it's going to be hard for Terry McLaurin this week against arguably the best cornerback in football.
Yeah, I mean, Surtain held Devontae Adams to just 6 receptions for 66 yards. I mean, that's huge with one of the best wide receivers in the league with Adams. So, I mean, Scary Terry has a very scary matchup this week. So I definitely agree with the sit-em on that one.
Yeah, and it's tough to say, too, because he's a hell of a receiver. I mean, and he might get open on a couple of plays, too. It's Terry. He makes crazy catches, but if you're deep in a roster, just do it.
I think Scary Terry is getting a lot of hype because, I mean, during his whole career with the Commanders, he really hasn't seen much competition for targets. And then this year they have Dotson, who's challenging him for some of those target shares. So we're seeing what Terry is really about.
Yeah. You got any names out there, Doc? You want to throw? I mean, besides Aaron Rodgers.
But yeah, I'll go up Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with a sit-em. I'm going to go on the wide receiver. I'm going to stick with the theme. I'm going to go OBJ. Playing against the Houston defense last week, only 3 targets. He did have 2 for catches, but only 3 targets. And I think that Zay Flowers coming out in his first game and showing what he's capable of, especially if Mark Andrews does play this week. I think it's going to take a lot away from OBJ. So I'm throwing him down for my sit-em.
Hey, speaking of Zay Flowers, I have Zay Flowers as one of my stardoms for this week. He was Lamar's first look on every fucking pass play. So, I mean, he's shifty. He'll get open against pretty much any corner the way it looks. So, I'm starting Zay Flowers. He had what? Let me pull it up. I wasn't ready to talk Zay Flowers just yet, so I didn't pull up the stats. But he had what?
That's why you have notes. That's why you have a notepad.
No, so he had 2 targets last week. Yeah, 9 and 10, which for 78 yards. And I'm sure that first tutty's coming here soon.
It might be coming too, yeah. I'm gonna hop off the wide receiver train, just get out of the position. I understand you probably don't have him as your starting quarterback. I say start Anthony Richardson this week. I expect him to have a huge game. I understand Houston had a pretty good game against Lamar. They settled him in, but Anthony Richardson had a good game against division rival in Jacksonville, and Michael Pittman Jr. and him had some good chemistry. I expect AR to have maybe like 50 yards rushing as well. It's 5 points. You might even get a rushing TD, so that's another 6. You're already at 11 right there, and you're going to expect him to still get passing touchdowns and passing yards. So I'm looking at like a solid 22 to 24-point game, at least from AR.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get in that end zone with his feet. So he's going to get you those rushing touchdowns just like Hurts did last year for you.
Oh, yeah. But Anyone? I mean, we still have a few minutes, boys.
Yeah, I got another stardom. So if you guys are pretty weak at the quarterback position, I'd look at starting Baker Mayfield this week. So if you got somebody like I don't know, Justin Fields starting quarterback or Russell Wilson, I'd probably start Baker Mayfield going against the Bears defense this week. Baker Mayfield looks like he's still got that dog in him, so he's going to go get those extra yards running the ball, and he's got two very talented wide receivers out there. So I think he's just going to get more. He's just going to keep getting more and more comfortable in that offense. So I would start Baker Mayfield this week.
Yeah,
favorable. If you don't have a top tier quarterback.
Yeah, favorable matchup against the Vikings. Threw for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. And look, let's be honest. He has definitely another favorable matchup against the Bears. The Bears let Jordan Love go out there and look like Aaron Rodgers that actually had an Achilles. So I think it's definitely a sleeper pick.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna go opposite of what Luke said. I'm gonna say Justin Fields. Historically, the Bears have played well the last few years against Tampa Bay, and I think that coming off of last week's game against the Packers and Justin Fields coming out, the Bears apologizing and Justin Fields admitting that the game plan was not a vertical offense. I think that it's going to be a much different look coming out. I think they're going to get DJ Moore incorporated more. Darnell Mooney, I thought, had a pretty good game, considering what was coming up to him. But I think that the game plan is going to be significantly different. I think the organization knows they need to put something else on the field in order to keep the fans on board and show some improvement. Everybody knows that this is an offense that is capable of doing some damage, especially after Roschon Johnson's rookie appearance last week, coupled with Khalil Herbert. So, the offensive line is still coming together, a lot of new faces. So hoping to see them step up. Darnell Wright, obviously still getting his feet under him. But I'm looking for the offensive line to get better and in the pass protection for Fields, and I'm going to be looking for Fields to hold his ground and stand sturdy in the pocket and get some passes downfield to those Bears receivers.
Hey, and my fantasy team fucking hope so because I got DJ Moore. So
yeah, I hope that Darnell Mooney goes for 200 yards, 3 scores. Cole Kmet 50 yards and a score, and I'll say Chase Claypool even 20 yards in the score. I'll be good with that.
I saw.
I can't even fucking say it, man, because that's my team. I can't even.
It's a catch this week. Nice.
I saw an article that Claypool was about to get benched.
Ooh,
he might.
I know, but I'm going to ride with the starts. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. I think he has a very favorable matchup going Miami Dolphins. They just let 234 rushing yards against Los Angeles. Look, he had some tough sledding to go with the ground on the Eagles defense. They're a fucking monster in their own. But I mean, hey, he had 18 touches. He shined in the passing, the catching game. He did hold on to the ball. Zeke fumbled once or twice? I think
at
once.
Least once, I know.
Yeah.
It was like a second touch too. It was like a second touch and he fumbled.
Yeah. So I mean, not just because I'm a Stevenson owner and I'm starting him, but hey, I think he's gonna have a great game.
I'm gonna give a complimentary stardom as well. I'm gonna go for you on this one, Chris. I'm gonna go Rashid Shaheed. I thought he played phenomenally last week. Aside from that muffed kickoff in the beginning, I think he comes back and he holds on to the football just fine. But he was definitely targeted. He was a big part of that offense in the passing game. I think with Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, there's a lot of spread that gives the underrated guy like Rashid a wide open lane on the field with everybody kind of, you draw up the nice, the right pull route or something that gets all the corners and the safeties over to the 2 stars, and you got a big opportunity to find him wide open downfield. He's got a lot of speed that can burn you deep.
And Horn's out, so their second best corner is going to be covering Olave. So
yep,
Shaheed's going to have it.
Who y'all playing this week?
Carolina
Panthers.
Oh, yeah, you got to start Shaheed. Come on now. Yeah, you got to start Shaheed.
So this might be a coming off a great game last week. This might be a very questionable sit-em for me, but I think if there's a QB that's out there you can stream for 1 week, or if you have it on your bench, I'm saying sit Tua. I think going into New England Sunday night in New England, Belichick knows how to take things away from you. Not saying Tyreek Hill will have a bad game, but Tua might have a couple interceptions. He can have a couple fumbles. I expect Tua to get hit this game. That might rattle him a little bit. You might see some ghost out there. So I think I think they're going to have a good game. They're still going to win. They can still put up points, but you can still put up points and have a couple touchdowns and still a few interceptions. Knocks your fantasy points down a little bit. But it's a risky sit-em but I think Tua is a guy you might want to think about if you're looking at your lineup.
And that matchup has always been one that it doesn't matter what you have on either side of the ball. It's like those games can always go either way. I remember even in Tom Brady's prime playing in New England and Miami could still come away with a win.
Yeah, I think it was last year. They played the Patriots week 1, and they didn't put up a lot of points. I think it was in New England. So, like I said, it's possible. It's Belichick philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Defensive mind.
I agree. But
I'll throw. No, none of us talked at the tight end position. I'm gonna go Sam Laporta for the Detroit Lions. I mean, he had his debut Thursday night going against the Super Bowl reigning champs, the Chiefs. He caught all 5 of his targets for 39 yards. Not a big game, but very favorable matchup against Seattle's defense, who allowed the most fantasy points to tight ends last year. So I think I can see Laporta going and getting more involved. Maybe a tutty. I picked him up on waivers, spent fucking $15 on him. I'm broke as fuck.
You are broke, yeah.
I got my players.
I'll just spend my $100 next week on somebody.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with another start here. I am going to throw out Philadelphia kicker Jake Elliott. 17 points for me last week in an explosive Philly offense. Come out 4 for 4 field goals. Did miss an extra point, but 17 points overall. I mean, just a phenomenal, just an animal of a kicker. I mean, if you don't have Justin Tucker, Jake Elliott, you got to put him in.
Well, no, I had Tucker last week. He only got me 2 points. So
yep. So Jake Elliott's officially the best kicker in the NFL.
Yeah. But no, let's talk about that Ravens game real quick. I say start both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I said it last night when we broke down the games. I think both receivers are going to have over 100 yards, and they both might have a touchdown. So you're looking at right there, 16 points, depending on how many catches they have. So I say both receivers.
That offense is going to come out hungry. That offense is going to come out. Joe Burrow knows they cannot come out and play like that again. They cannot come out flat-footed.
So speaking of wide receiver cores, I'm going to go sit them all the Giants wide receivers. I have no faith in Danny Dimes.
I was going to say Jets.
Yeah. No faith in Danny Dimes. Well, I think Wilson on the Jets.
Can we come together here? Can you and I come together for once?
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead. We're going to say sit him all New York receivers.
Yeah.
How about this? All 3 New York teams.
Sit all the wide
receivers except Diggs.
Yeah.
Except Diggs. So problem with the Bills is Diggs is going to be the first and probably the only look because pretty much I don't think their off-field issues have been resolved with Josh Allen and Diggs.
Said that from the start.
So you saw Josh Allen's trying to force it to Diggs on multiple plays, and he ended up just throwing up fucking punts. So if you have Gabe Davis on your team, it hurts to say it, but I'd say probably should sit him because he's not going to get the looks like he was the previous seasons because Diggs wants all that fucking attention on him. He's my only New York wide receiver to start.
And don't sleep on Cole Kmet for a tight end either. Another possible stardom for you. 5 of 7 on the targets, 44 yards, just a touchdown away, and he's been a big end zone presence for the Bears over the last couple of years.
I expect Goddard also to go off after having a goose egg last week too against the Vikings. So if he's playing, I mean, I haven't seen anything on him, but that didn't seem out there much. It seemed like, but start Goddard. My last one real quick, sit all Rams receivers. I get it. They're coming off a hot week against the Seahawks, but guess what? You're playing fucking the 49ers, and this is going to be a home game for the Niners. I don't give a shit if it's in L.A. Those Niner fans are going to take over that stadium. Sit them for this week, but start getting ready for the following weeks to come. So unless anyone else has anything, man, fuck, we threw some names out there for these viewers out here, boys.
If they don't find a fucking goose egg, like they don't find a win in these names that we gave out, there's no helping you.
But boys, this is about it, man. We did it. Well, me and Chris did it. We did 4 episodes in 3 days. You guys did 3 in 4 days. So shout out to you guys. Can't wait. We get fucking football tomorrow, tonight or today when you guys hear it. We get the Vikings and the Eagles, and then we get some college football on Saturday. Boring.
Finally, a good Thursday night game.
Well, I mean, last week was Lions Chiefs, so we only had 2 games on Thursday night, so you can't.
Let me put it that way. Finally, Thursday night's putting together some games instead of fucking Commanders.
We get Bears Commanders on Thursday night again this year, so just throwing it out there.
I think we've had some very solid primetime games. I mean, I know the Dallas game was boring to watch, but hey, I was fucking loving it, especially in the 4th when I saw Dak Prescott on the sideline benched. Not really
Yeah.
benched, but pulled. Hey,
Well,
I was loving it. I don't know about you, Doc.
I love seeing Deuce Vaughn getting some play time too. Oh, 5'5" of him just out there running around.
well,
Love it.
Week 3
You
got
know, I
Giants.
said I wasn't gonna fucking drink this week, Chris, but thanks for that, buddy.
So week 3 we got Giants Niners on Thursday. Week 4 Lions Packers, and week 5 Bears Commanders. So those are your next 3 weeks after this. So yeah, it might be a few weeks before we get some more Thursday night football. Good
They're
action.
hitting the NFC
so.
North on Thursday, huh?
Yeah. So, but boys, great week. Can't wait to talk in here again on Monday. Can't wait to see the text messages. Can't wait to stir up some shit and all the group chats that we got going on. Our group chat and then the one with Dynasty. Can't wait to stir the pot, and I'm ready for it. I'm always there to do it. So,
Hey, shout out to our viewer of the week, Riz Love. You're still not getting that fucking apology, but shout out to you, Riz.
we love you, Riz. And shout out to you too, Ali. Way to point out that the Bears suck, and they always will suck. Hey, that's Luke Rule.
He's a
That's Chris
fucking
Minehart.
Raiders fan, dude. Chill out.
Nick the Doc Skirkwitz. I'm Mark
Jesus.
Davis. It's all about the Balls podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House.